seem as a class to have absolutely no sense of moral responsibility.
Have reached absolute perfection.
The precept tells the practice of the primitive church was distinctly against matrimony.
Mr. Ernest Worthing is engaged.
You young scoundrel, Outing! You must get out of this place at once! I don't allow any bumbling here!
I wonder if the moment when you're free to express your real feelings, if whether your energy should be a little bit more schoolmasterly.
You young scoundrel, Outing! You must leave this place at once! I don't allow any bumbling here!
We're now in week 3 of rehearsal, and that's quite interesting because we're concentrating on putting a lot of the detail in and making sure that everything's got an interesting texture and making sure that the energies are precisely right. So it's quite an exciting stage.
I am very fond of you, Cecily. I have liked you ever since I first met you.
We love each other, we hate each other, then we're sisters.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Fascinated by each other and very quickly become rivals. And absolutely
And there's
hate
jealousy.
each other's guts. Very jealous. How dare you! This is no time for wearing the shallow mask of manners. When I see a spade, I call it a spade.
All the characters speak, including the men servants, in a very, very detailed and articulate way. So I think the challenge is to make sure that every second of the play is filled with real life.
I may mention that I have always suspected you of being a confirmed and secret bumbrist.
I think we probably have a lot more in common than maybe either of us are willing to let on, certainly you.
Yeah, they know how to press each other's buttons, basically.
And I am quite sure of it now. Bumbrist? What on earth do you mean by a bumbrist?
I mean, they're both wonderful parts. I mean, and the way Wilde writes is that he does so much of the work for you because he writes so beautifully and so wittily, and you have to be at your best to honour what he has written.
Yes, and I think in terms of the challenges of it, because it's so incredibly erudite and very clever and very witty, it's just, there's a huge danger, isn't there, of just rattling it off, because you can.
Answer to the name of Ernest. You look as though your name's Ernest. You are the most earnest-looking person I ever saw in my life.
I think his language is extremely difficult. I think as an actor you need a huge amount of stamina.
There's a particular way he writes, and to some extent all the characters speak with his voice, I guess.
The difficulty is coming on and acting your pants off, but yet making them interesting at the same time and making them real people.
But you've got to find your own path through it. So there's a kind of double challenge of finding a character, but finding a way to honour that style of writing. So it's a really interesting challenge.
To adore and resign to his loss, his sudden return seems to me to be peculiarly distressing.
And of course, these very long sentences, which it's a period thing. But you realise that with modern plays, you don't have to think that length of thought.
But is a man not equally attractive when married?
No married man is ever attractive except to his wife.
And often I've been told not even to her.
And it's amazing to do scenes that are so well written and with these incredibly eloquent characters that you don't come across very often. And it's so much fun to kind of get behind how they can come up with these retorts and these arguments off the cuff like they do. It's great fun.
Playing the two characters, often you'd sit watching what's going on and seeing it develop, I think, is fascinating.
You seem to me to be the absolute visual personification of absolute perfection. The absolute visible personification of perfect perfection.
Oscar was very fond of his own voice, the sound of his own voice, and certainly in this play, I think in all his plays, you know, the sound of his own voice really rings through very clearly.
Perfection.